Sarah sat on a park bench, the cold seeping through her thin coat. The city buzzed around her, a confusing mix of sounds and faces. Each one a stranger, uncaring, unaware of the knot of fear twisting in her stomach. Just yesterday, she had arrived, full of hope, ready to start a new life with Mark. Now, Mark was gone, and so was her hope. He'd left a note, a flimsy excuse, and disappeared, leaving her with nothing but a suitcase and a broken heart in a city she didn't know. She clutched her purse tightly, her knuckles white. Where could she go? What could she do? The money she had wouldn't last long. Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the already confusing cityscape. She felt utterly, completely alone. A wave of despair washed over her, threatening to pull her under. She closed her eyes, wishing she could disappear, just vanish into the crowd. This new beginning was a disaster, a cruel joke. She was lost, truly lost. Across the park, Michael was helping an elderly woman struggling with her groceries. He carefully unloaded the heavy bags from her arms, his brow furrowed in concentration as he rearranged them for easier carrying. He smiled warmly at her, offering a few words of comfort and reassurance before carefully walking her to the bus stop. Sarah watched him from her bench, a flicker of something akin to curiosity stirring within her. He seemed genuinely kind, his actions unhurried and sincere. He wasn't looking for praise or reward, just simply offering help to someone in need. Sarah had always believed in the goodness of people, but Mark's betrayal had shaken that belief to its core. Seeing Michael's selfless act offered a tiny spark of hope, a reminder that not everyone was cruel or uncaring. Maybe, just maybe, there was still kindness in the world. But the hope was fragile, easily crushed. Sarah hesitated. Could she trust him? Mark had seemed so kind, so caring, at first. He had promised her a future, a life together. And then, so quickly, he had taken it all away. The pain of that betrayal was still raw, a burning wound in her heart. She watched Michael as he turned and walked in her direction, a friendly smile on his face. Panic flared within her. Should she get up and leave? Pretend she hadn't seen him? The thought of talking to a stranger, of revealing even a sliver of her vulnerability, terrified her. What if he was like Mark, hiding a cruel heart behind a charming facade? No, she couldn't risk it. She would rather face the uncertainty of her situation alone than open herself up to more pain. She looked away, hoping he wouldn't notice her. Michael noticed the woman on the bench, her shoulders slumped, her gaze fixed on the ground. He could sense her distress, the invisible weight she carried. He had a knack for spotting those who were struggling, a gift, or perhaps a burden, he'd carried since childhood. He paused for a moment, considering whether to approach her. He didn't want to intrude, but he couldn't just walk by and pretend he hadn't seen her pain. He decided to take a chance. He walked towards her slowly, his steps measured and unthreatening. "Excuse me," he said gently, his voice soft and non-intrusive. "Are you all right? You seem a little lost." He kept a respectful distance, allowing her space and time to respond. He wasn't pushy or demanding, just offering a simple, genuine question, hoping to break through her wall of despair. He prepared himself for her to reject him, but he had to try. Sarah flinched, startled by his voice. She looked up, her eyes red-rimmed and filled with suspicion. He seemed genuine, his eyes kind and concerned, but the memory of Mark's deception was still too fresh. I'm fine," she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. She tried to force a smile, but it felt weak and unconvincing. Michael didn't push. He could see she was lying, but he respected her need for space. "All right," he said softly. "Well, if you need anything, even just directions, I'm happy to help. I know this city can be a bit overwhelming." He gestured vaguely towards the surrounding buildings, a subtle way of acknowledging her possible disorientation without directly pressing her for details. He paused, giving her another opportunity to respond, then added, "There's a good coffee shop just around the corner. Best coffee in the city, in my opinion. He left the offer hanging in the air, a simple, non-threatening gesture of goodwill. He started to turn away, giving her the space she seemed to need, but then he paused. Actually, he said, turning back slightly. I'm heading that way myself. Would you mind if I got you a coffee? My treat. No pressure at all, just a friendly gesture. He smiled warmly, holding up his hands in a gesture of peace. Consider it a welcome to the city, even if it's not the welcome you were expecting. Before Sarah could formulate a response, Michael had already started walking towards the coffee shop. He glanced back at her, his expression open and inviting. The thought of a warm drink was tempting, a small comfort in the midst of her turmoil. And there was something about Michael's genuine kindness that chipped away at her defenses. Slowly, hesitantly, she rose from the bench and followed him. Inside the warm, fragrant coffee shop, Sarah felt slightly less vulnerable. She sat at a small table near the window, the coffee steaming in front of her. Michael didn't pry, didn't demand answers. He simply asked her name and then told her a little about himself, about his work as a volunteer at a local animal shelter, about his love for hiking in the nearby mountains. After a while, sensing her growing comfort, he gently inquired, "So, Sarah, what brings you to our lovely, chaotic city?" She hesitated, then took a deep breath. I came here with someone," she began, choosing her words carefully. "Things didn't work out." She omitted the abandonment, the cruelty, the details that still made her throat tighten with pain. "I'm kind of on my own now," she finished quietly, avoiding his gaze. Michael nodded understandingly, his gaze gentle and non-judgmental. He didn't press her for more details, sensing her discomfort. Instead, he shifted the conversation to practical matters. "Well, Sarah," he said, "do you have a place to stay?" Sarah shook her head, shame washing over her. "Not really," she mumbled. Michael considered for a moment. "I have a spare room in my apartment," he offered cautiously. "It's not much, but it's safe and dry. You're welcome to stay there for a few days while you figure things out. No rent, no obligations. Or," he continued, "if you'd rather, I can help you look at job listings. I know a few people in the area who are often hiring." He wanted to help, but he didn't want to overwhelm her or make her feel indebted to him. He just wanted to offer a lifeline. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes, a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. Could she really trust this man? Was it possible for someone to be so genuinely kind? I don't know what to say," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. Thank you so much." The thought of spending another night alone, lost and scared, was unbearable. Michael's offer was a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the darkness. But a small part of her remained wary, a nagging voice whispering doubts and warnings. I would really appreciate a place to stay," she said hesitantly. "Just for a few nights, until I can figure something out." She looked up at him, her eyes searching his for any sign of deception. She so desperately wanted to believe him. The next day was a series of small steps. Michael showed Sarah the spare room, clean and simple, with a small window overlooking a quiet street. He gave her a key and assured her she could come and go as she pleased. He didn't hover or ask intrusive questions. They spent the morning looking through job listings online, Michael patiently guiding her through the search process. He helped her update her resume, offering gentle suggestions and encouragement. Sarah found herself slowly opening up, sharing a little more about her skills and experience. With each passing hour, her apprehension lessened, replaced by a growing sense of gratitude and a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, things would be okay. Michael remained consistently patient and supportive, never pushing, always listening. He treated her with respect and kindness, reinforcing her growing trust in him. Later that afternoon, while taking a break from the job search, Michael tripped over his own feet, sending a stack of papers flying into the air. Sarah, startled, watched as he scrambled to gather them, his face flushed with embarrassment. He made a self-deprecating joke about being the world's clumsiest volunteer, and something inside Sarah shifted. A genuine laugh bubbled up from deep within her, the first real laugh she'd had in days. It was a light, airy sound, a release of pent-up tension and sadness. Michael grinned, relieved to see her smile. The shared laughter created a connection between them, a moment of lightness that dissolved more of the barriers she had erected around her heart. It was a small thing, a simple moment of clumsiness and humor, but it made a world of difference. Later that week, they ventured out to a local community center that offered free computer classes. They missed the bus by mere seconds, watching it pull away from the stop just as they arrived. Sarah's heart sank. It felt like another sign that things weren't meant to work out for her. But Michael simply shrugged. "No worries," he said cheerfully. "We can walk. It's a nice day, and it'll give us a chance to explore a bit." He didn't complain or get frustrated, didn't make her feel like it was her fault. His easygoing reaction, his ability to turn a setback into an opportunity, surprised and comforted her. As they walked, chatting and laughing, Sarah realized that Michael's kindness wasn't just a facade. He was genuinely good, patient, and resilient. The missed bus, instead of being a disaster, became another step forward in building her trust. That evening, after dinner, Sarah found herself drawn to Michael's easy presence. She felt a sense of safety she hadn't experienced since before Mark. She sat beside him on the sofa, a comfortable silence settling between them. Taking a deep breath, she began to tell him the truth. About Mark's promises, about their plans, about the note he'd left, and about the crushing feeling of abandonment that had consumed her. The words tumbled out, raw and unfiltered, a torrent of pain and vulnerability. She spoke of her fear, her shame, her uncertainty about the future. As she spoke, the weight on her chest seemed to lighten, the burden of her secret finally shared with someone she trusted. When she finished, she looked at Michael, her eyes filled with a mixture of relief and trepidation. Michael listened intently, his expression unwavering, his eyes filled with compassion. He didn't interrupt, didn't judge, didn't offer empty platitudes. When she finished, he reached out and gently took her hand, his touch warm and reassuring. "Sarah," he said softly, his voice filled with sincerity, "I am so sorry that happened to you. You didn't deserve that. Mark was wrong to treat you that way." He paused, allowing his words to sink in. "It's okay to be scared, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to feel however you're feeling. But don't let him steal your hope. You are strong, and you will get through this." He offered a gentle squeeze of her hand, a silent promise of support and understanding. "And I'll be here to help you every step of the way." Over the next few days, Sarah and Michael began to talk about her future. Not just about finding a job and a place to live, but about her dreams, her passions, what she truly wanted out of life. Michael encouraged her to think big, to not let Mark's actions define her. Sarah had always loved photography, but she'd put that dream aside, convinced it wasn't practical. Michael, however, urged her to reconsider. He suggested she take some free online courses, build a portfolio, and maybe even start a small business. He offered to help her research equipment and market her services. His support wasn't just about providing a temporary solution, it was about empowering her to build a fulfilling and independent life. They made plans to visit local parks to take pictures, and Michael even knew someone who worked at a local photography studio who might be willing to offer some advice. A subtle shift began to occur within Sarah. The crushing weight of despair began to lift, replaced by a fragile seed of hope. She started to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could build a good life for herself, even in this new city, even after everything that had happened. Michael's kindness was a catalyst, a beacon guiding her out of the darkness. He didn't try to fix her or solve all her problems, but he offered something far more valuable, unwavering support, genuine understanding, and a belief in her potential. For the first time in a long time, Sarah felt seen, heard, and valued. And that feeling, that sense of worth, was the most powerful medicine of all. She started to imagine a future filled with possibilities, a future where she was happy and independent. One afternoon, while they were reviewing Sarah's photography portfolio, Michael hesitated, then shared a small detail about his own past. "You know," he said, "I always wanted to be a musician. I even played in a band in college. But I gave it up because I didn't think I was good enough." He chuckled softly, a hint of regret in his voice. "Now, I mostly just play for myself." It was a small thing, but it changed the dynamic between them. It showed Sarah that Michael wasn't perfect, that he had his own unfulfilled dreams and insecurities. It made him more human, more relatable. It wasn't just about him helping her, it was about two people connecting on a deeper level. This act of vulnerability created a sense of equality, a feeling that they were both flawed individuals navigating the complexities of life, supporting each other along the way. Their relationship blossomed into a genuine friendship. They shared meals, watched movies, and explored the city together. Sarah started helping Michael with his volunteer work at the animal shelter, finding joy in caring for the abandoned animals. They laughed, they supported each other through difficult moments, and they celebrated each other's small victories. It wasn't just about Michael helping Sarah anymore, it was about two friends supporting each other on their individual journeys. They learned from each other, challenged each other, and inspired each other to be better versions of themselves. The lines between helper and helped blurred, replaced by a bond of mutual respect and affection. Sarah realized that Michael wasn't just a kind stranger, he was becoming one of her closest friends. One day, while they were volunteering at the animal shelter, the shelter director, a kind woman named Mrs. Peterson, approached Michael. "Michael," she said, smiling warmly, "I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done for Sarah. It's truly inspiring to see how you've helped her get back on her feet." Michael blushed, a little embarrassed by the praise. "I didn't do anything special," he mumbled modestly. Mrs. Peterson shook her head. "Don't be so humble, Michael. Your kindness has made a world of difference. You're a good man." Her words, spoken with genuine sincerity, reinforced Sarah's own feelings about Michael. It was validating to hear someone else acknowledge the goodness she saw in him, further solidifying her trust and appreciation for his unwavering support. It also made Michael feel good, knowing that his actions were noticed and appreciated. Fueled by her renewed confidence and Michael's unwavering support, Sarah started taking concrete steps towards independence. She diligently searched for permanent jobs, spending hours online and visiting local businesses. She even started attending photography workshops to hone her skills and build her portfolio. She also began looking for her own apartment, wanting to create a space that was truly her own. Michael helped her navigate the rental market, offering advice and accompanying her on apartment viewings. He never pressured her to stay with him longer than she was comfortable with, but he assured her that she was always welcome. Sarah's determination and drive were inspiring, a testament to her resilience and her newfound belief in herself. She was no longer the scared, lost woman who had arrived in the city weeks ago. She was a survivor, a fighter, a woman with a future. One evening, as she sat in her room, reviewing the photos she'd taken that day, Sarah paused and reflected on how far she had come. It seemed like a lifetime ago that she had sat on that park bench, lost and hopeless. Now, she had a future, a purpose, and a friend who believed in her. Tears welled in her eyes, but this time, they were tears of gratitude. She thought about Michael's unwavering support, his patience, his kindness, his belief in her when she didn't believe in herself. She knew that she wouldn't be where she was today without him. He had given her a second chance, a new beginning, and she would never forget it. She felt an overwhelming sense of appreciation for everything he had done, for the way he had transformed her life. She knew she needed to tell him how much he meant to her. Unbeknownst to Sarah, Michael also experienced a profound sense of fulfillment. Watching her blossom, witnessing her renewed confidence, and seeing her pursue her dreams brought him a quiet joy he hadn't felt in years. He didn't need grand gestures or public recognition. Seeing Sarah happy and independent was reward enough. He knew that he had simply offered a helping hand, but he also knew that Sarah's strength and resilience were the driving forces behind her transformation. He was proud to have played a small part in her journey, proud to have been a friend when she needed one most. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that his kindness had made a difference, that he had helped someone find their way back to the light. He cherished their growing friendship and looked forward to seeing what the future held for them both. That evening, Sarah found Michael in the living room, strumming softly on his guitar. She sat beside him, her heart filled with gratitude. "Michael," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for me." Michael stopped playing and looked at her, his eyes filled with warmth. "You don't have to thank me, Sarah," he said gently. "I'm just happy to see you doing so well." "But you changed my life," she insisted. "You gave me hope when I had none." Michael smiled. "And you gave me a friend when I needed one," he replied. He paused, then added, "And I want you to know, Sarah, that I'll always be here for you, no matter what. You can always count on me." His words were a promise, a reassurance that their friendship was strong and enduring. Sarah smiled, her heart filled with warmth. She knew that the future was uncertain, that there would be challenges ahead. But she also knew that she wasn't alone. She had Michael, a true friend who would always be there for her, no matter what. As Michael continued to strum his guitar, a gentle melody filling the room, Sarah leaned her head against his shoulder, a sense of peace washing over her. She had found solace in a kind stranger, and their journey together was just beginning. Their bond of trust was firmly established, a foundation upon which they could build a future filled with hope, friendship, and unwavering support. They faced the unknown, not with fear, but with a quiet confidence, ready to navigate whatever life threw their way, together.